Good morning, SATC420. Today we're going to discuss an incident that happened in Canton, North Carolina on 9/21/2020. It was a fire doing hot work at the Evergreen Packaging Paper Mill. Okay, an overview of the incident. On 9/21/2020, a paper mill operated by Evergreen Packaging, known as Evergreen, in Canton, North Carolina, was undergoing a shutdown, and associated maintenance and capital project work was ongoing throughout the facility. In one of Evergreen's pulp bleaching units, two contract companies, Universal Blasco and Rimcor, were performing simultaneous maintenance work inside two connected process vessels called upflow tower and the downflow tower. The pulp bleaching process is very corrosive by design, and the upflow and downflow towers were constructed of corrosion-resistant materials. However, due to the corrosive nature of this process, the upflow and downflow towers require periodic maintenance to their inside surfaces. The upflow tower was constructed with fiber-reinforced plastic, and Blasco's repair work in the upflow tower required the application of flammable epoxy vinyl ester resin and sheets of fiberglass to the inside walls of the vessel. It was a cool ambient night that caused the epoxy to harden slower, causing the newly applied resin and fiberglass to slide down the walls of the vessel. A portable electric heat gun was used to help the resin harden faster. This hot working around flammable materials caused the fire. And as you can see, I put a heat gun. The heat gun is up there that was utilized to try to help the resin harden faster, which was the cause of the fire. I'm gonna go back to this slide. So guys, at any point in time that you're doing something and it just doesn't seem right, or the process doesn't seem like it's going as planned, according to plan, at that point an all stop needs to be called, and a discussion needs to be held for a better plan to be put into place. If that would had happened here, this incident could have been prevented. Alright guys, I know on our sheet it says 14 OSHA PSM elements, PSM process safety management, but I found 16 on the ecfr.gov website under 29 CFR 1910.119. So the first one is application, second one definitions, third employee participation, fourth process safety information, the fifth is process hazard analysis, the sixth is operating procedures, seventh training, the eight contractors. Number 9 is pre-startup safety review. 10 mechanical integrity. 11 hot work permit. 12 management of change. 13 incident investigation. 14 emergency planning and response. 15 compliance audits, and 16 trade secrets. Continuing on. Alright guys, the contributing process safety management, or PSM elements that caused our fire at the Canton, North Carolina facility. Operating procedures, one of them. Contractors is another one. Guys, operating procedures and contractors contributed or was the root cause of this incident. An explanation of the PSM element that was at issue. First, they had two contract companies performing work simultaneously. When simultaneous operations occur, you need to have a good game plan, and if something changes, stop work authority needs to be utilized so the parties can agree on a method going forward. Blasco failed to effectively evaluate the flammable material hazards presented by its work in the upflow tower and implement controls to prevent the introduction of ignition sources to the work area, which caused the fire that fatally injured 2 people. Now, like I said previously, guys, Evergreen, the company that hired these companies to come perform this work, they should have something in their SMS denoting simultaneous operations, and that is what that should be abided by, but neither of those things happened. So, and the companies didn't come up with a good game plan. I'm sure each company wanted to get to do their own work and do their own thing and get out of there, but that led to 2 people being fatally injured. So guys, secondly, Evergreen should have something about simultaneous operations in their operating procedures and made sure that both contract companies understood before proceeding, which I just stated. Evergreen's contract orientation should be more thorough. They have an internal document that Evergreen employees follow, but limited it to the contractors. When a contractor walks onto a company's location, that contractor will abide by your safety rules unless their company has more stringent criteria. In that case, they will go by the most stringent criteria. Good communication is key when performing any operation, but especially when performing simultaneous operations. God, saying it again, that is it right there. You have to communicate when these type of operations are going on, because there's so many things that can go wrong or happen where you would need to stop and regroup, get a better game plan, and then continue on about your business. And I put a couple pictures here of the tower. Look at that big hole in the tower is burnt, and the heat gun that caused it. Some previous recommendations from the CSB to Evergreen was implementing a hierarchy of controls to address hazards in a confined space. Doesn't seem like that happened in this case, right guys? Establishing a maximum permissible percentage substantially below the lower explosive limit. The need to comprehensively control all potential ignition sources. The importance of treating confined spaces with the potential for flammable atmosphere above 10% of the LEL. The requirement that confined spaces such as penstocks be managed as permit required. So guys, all these things were previously recommended to Evergreen to put some barriers in place and have things in place in case something of this nature would happen. And I'm not sure what happened with the situation. I wasn't there, so I don't know why Evergreen didn't implement it, or they maybe implemented some and not others. I'm not sure what the situation was with that, but if these recommendations had been implemented, then this incident may have been prevented as well. Some lessons learned from the contractor side: identification of simultaneous operations, identification of potential hazards and actions, evaluations and implementation of necessary safeguards for safe simultaneous operations, coordination including shared communication methods between simultaneous operations, inclusion of emergency response personnel services in the planning and coordination of simultaneous operations. That goes again, guys. We've been talking about this the whole slideshow. Communication is key, especially during simultaneous operations. It's very important. It is imperative that you communicate. Very imperative that you communicate. All right, we're gonna go to the next one. Lessons learned for Evergreen: identify potential simultaneous operations, identify potential hazardous interactions, evaluate and implement necessary safeguards to allow for simultaneous operations, ensure coordination including shared communication methods between the simultaneous operations, include emergency response personnel or services in the planning and coordination of the simultaneous operations. So there you have it again, guys. Communication. It comes in pretty much almost every slide we discuss. Communication was in there. Safeguards. The safeguards were not there to prevent this. So hopefully we learned, Evergreen, they learned from this experiment, or from this fatal event, and correct what needs to be corrected and move on in a positive manner. All right, guys, a summary of the lessons learned for the industry. The summary of the lessons learned is to make sure to be thorough in your planning and to have a good game plan when you will be conducting simultaneous operations. There goes that word again. Communication is key to success while conducting simultaneous operations. Have a SMS program in place to mitigate some of these hazards. Implement safeguards for simultaneous operations, which would fall under your SMS program. guys, that we can't stress that enough. Communicate. Communication is key. All right, guys, that'll be the end of the slideshow. Do you have any questions for me? If not, we'll wrap it up here. Thank you. I appreciate it. This is where I got my information, csb.gov and ecfr.gov. Thank you for your time. Enjoy your day.